Hey, my friend, you have to suck at everything first. Everything is so difficult. Or is it? What would happen if I gave you a secret to learning and becoming a master without 10,000 hours? Would that be important? Would that be something you'd like to learn? And as you know, I always tell my secrets. I'll share them with you after this. Hey, this is the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, where we use hypnosis. Yeah, hypnosis. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Don't worry what it is. It's just a mass of processes that we're going to get you to change. Change to let go of anxiety, low self-esteem, and create massive supreme inner confidence. But that's confidence in your competence and competence in your confidence, which means you can do anything and be safe, to enjoy the world as it should be, with you at the helm, creating the life that you want. That's what this podcast is about. You and being the best you could be, singing from your real voice, aligned with your mission, aligned with your passions. That's what it's about. So if you're interested in letting go of anxiety, if you're interested in letting go of fear, guilt, all those blooming syndromes, imposter syndromes, and every little bit of the mind which is negative, then have a listen here, because we've got some wonderful processes and lots of good conversations between you and me to get us both thinking in such wonderful ways. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just take the chance to have a listen.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friends, how are you doing today? No, how are you really doing? We never ask that, do we? Or when we do ask it, and we just go, yeah, I'm doing good. But are you really? How are you really feeling? Because I'm always interested how you're getting on. And this is one of those episodes where I want to help you. Because the title says you have to suck first. Well, what does that mean? Because it's a hell of a title, isn't it? Is it true that whatever you do, you have to suck at it first? See, even my meta view of this is, you'll never have to suck. So how can I say you'll have to suck first? I want to tell you this, and we'll get round to that. You see, no one knows everything. Full stop. There's some pretty brainy people around, but no one knows everything. I want you to remember that. Remember that. No one knows everything. And also, no one, absolutely bloody no one, was brilliant at what they do brilliantly now. It looks that way, and it always looks, or used to look that way to me. Maybe you. And I think everyone else, even them that do it brilliantly now, they used to think, when they looked at their idols or their whatever, thought it was so easy. Well, it looks so easy. People make things look so easy. And you see what you're doing when you're looking at the show reels, you're seeing that person at their best, aren't you? We've all seen it. It's getting pushed in our faces a lot these days, but it's great to be able to model people who are showing you their show reels, showing you the stuff that they do well, so you can not necessarily copy them, but copy their strategy maybe and do it your way. Because we always compare their show reels to our blooper reels, don't we? And that's when it really sucks, because it makes our practice feel even suckier, I guess. And you see what we don't see, and we've said it before, we never see all that practice, all the failures along the way. And I don't like the word failures because they're just feedback, but all the things that didn't go right, maybe that's a better way, or the way they intended to go because they had to practice and practice. And the tears, the sweat and the blood. When I go down the gym, I'm seeing these couple of guys who are doing this like calisthenics or whatever they call it, where they balance and they move their body, and they're trying so hard. And I've seen people just zoom up into a handstand. But then all of a sudden I see them suddenly go boom, and they suddenly change overnight. And if you didn't see the day before, you'd think they've always done it that way. You didn't see the blood, sweat and tears, that all that effort they put in to get there. And for some people, it takes a few years to get that good. It takes a few years to be an overnight success. Do you know anybody who, when you look at their results, have been an overnight success? Or not their results, or their hard work, where they started from, what they've had to do. So, I hope you feel good about that. So, in a way, you might have to wait for years. Do I really have to wait for years to be that good? It's not that 10,000 hours business, is it, Cluffy? I don't agree with that 10,000 hours malarkey, because I got a different way. You see, this is, I think, not just a slog or sucking it up and all that stuff, but it is an adventure, but it's an adventure in learning. Yeah, that's different. Let's call it an adventure in learning, because every time you learn something new, it's something new that you don't have to suck at. And the thing is, there's a secret to learning. There is a secret to learning. It may not be the only secret, I'm sure it isn't, but it's one of my secrets to learning. But before we even go there, I think we sometimes just have to understand how learning really works. Because if you think about it, there's stuff that you don't know. You don't even know exists. I mean, before I became a hypnotist, I really didn't know what hypnosis was. I didn't read about it. I'd seen a couple of stage show type things, but didn't really have any idea whatsoever. So I was completely incompetent, unconsciously incompetent. Didn't know anything about it at all. Didn't even know it existed. It was not on my wavelength. And then, when I started to go to my hypnosis trainings, I became consciously incompetent. That's when it really sucks, because you just know you don't know anything about it. You haven't got a bloody clue. This thing's going. And I can tell you stories of how I failed, supposedly failed, because I was so unconsciously incompetent. So when I got that, so now what is unconscious incompetence? I know I don't know. And then I start learning this stuff. And the more you get there, you become, we call it consciously competent. And I can tell you a little story. When I first went to my hypnosis training, there was this lovely lad there who decided he was going to take me under his wing. Younger than me, but he'd been doing hypnosis for a little time. And so he took me under his wing, and we were staying in this guest house, this bed and breakfast. And he decided to show me a particular process. So he told me what it was, showed me it, and then says, go on then, do it. Do it for me. Do it for me. I know what I want to do. I know what I want this process to do. And I trust you, Paul. You can do it. So I started, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was getting consciously competent, which means it was really clunky. I had an idea what to do, but I hadn't practiced enough. But he was giving me the opportunity to practice. So I went through this process, and in the middle, I got totally lost. Didn't know where I was. And all of a sudden, he opened one eye. And I think it felt like a shout. I'm sure it wasn't a shout, but it felt to me like a shout, saying, but you haven't asked me to do the bloody thing, Paul. You keep talking about it, you haven't asked me to do it. And there were so many people around watching me, and I went, because I was incompetent and sort of competent, but I was clunky. But the thing is that was one of the biggest learnings I ever had. That process I do with my client's eyes closed, but with my eyes closed now. Do it anytime easy. Because now I've become unconsciously competent at it. I can do it easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's a bit like driving. If you never know how to drive, you don't know how to drive. And then someone tells you that you don't know how to drive. And then you start playing with the gears. And you think, oh, bloody hell, I've got a clutch. It's automatic maybe, but I've got this and I've got that. And look at the mirror, I've got to see where I'm going. And I've got to move the bloody steering wheel. And I've got an accelerator and all that stuff. And I get into it and it's clunky, clunky, clunky. And then, and I don't know when it happens, but it seems to just sort of happen, that you begin to drive. And you put on that radio. And you sing. And you relax. And everything is sweet. because you're driving, call it like automatically driving, unconsciously driving. You don't think about having to brake and change gear or do anything because you just do it naturally. Because that's called unconscious competence. But here's a secret. Here is a secret. You see, it's about, I'll say that again, it's about mastering something. And if you master one thing, then you're on your way. Because then you can build upon it. So what do I mean by that? So again, another thing from my hypnosis training. This is when I used to train people as well. And we go through the trainings, we do our exercises, they work with partners, they hypnotize people, they do their hypnotherapy, they do their NLP, we learn processes, language patterns, we've got it all there. And I say to them, you're really good. You are certified now. You're a master hypnotist. You can be a practicing hypnotist, NLP practitioner, timeline therapist. We've done it all. You said you really wanted to be a therapist, so when are you going to start? And they always say, well, I don't know enough. I'm going, hang on a minute. What is it about enough that you don't know of? Which is a weird question. And they go, well, I just don't know enough, Paul. I need to know more. I need to know everything. Which circles back to my very first statement, doesn't it? No one knows everything because there's always something else to learn. That's the beauty of this adventure in learning. There's always something else. It would be bloody boring if it wasn't. So they always want to know everything. But you can't know everything because you just don't know it. And could they ever know everything? Absolutely not, because as we just said, that no one can know everything. They'd be the only person in the world who ever does. And the thing is, how long would it take if you could know everything? Or even everything bar one thing? How long would that take? Well, you could knock that 1,000 hours on the head, couldn't you? You could double it, treble it. You can go to anything you like because you would always be one more thing to learn because, got to learn one more thing. And if you have to know everything, means you get to feel, I suck forever. What a feeling that would be. I suck forever. Now, I know we said it's pretty natural to feel that way occasionally. You know, when you're getting through that incompetence and to conscious competence where you feel like you suck, but you're actually moving. But the thing is, trying to know it all is so BS. So you can say to me, Cluffy, so what do you suggest? Well, I did say we'll have a look at mastery, and that's with an uppercase, capital M, mastery. And you're probably going to say, yeah, but how can I be a master of something if I don't know everything? And that's exactly the point. You will never know anything, everything. But the thing is, you master the one thing that you do know, one thing at a time. And then while you're really learning that one thing, so you just master it to the best of your ability and keep improving and improving. We can always improve a little bit. It leads to confidence. And you get confident in doing that one thing, which means you're going from unconscious incompetence to conscious competence and then unconscious competence. I think I got that right. So you start to move towards unconscious competence, which means you just get to do it naturally. And that brings that confidence in itself. And you get a better feeling in yourself, a little bit higher esteem about what you're doing, and it gets to feel good. And that confidence from that one thing leads to a confidence in your practice for learning more. And then when you learn a bit more and you practice that one to be a master of that second one, now you're starting to get a little, they call it like a tool bag of components, processes, things that you can do. And the thing is, the more you practice on that one thing and then the next and then the next, so we're not just solely focusing on one, but we're focusing more on one and letting our confidence move off to the next one. We're doing how practice really should be done, I believe, because we're practicing goodly. What does that mean? I mean, a lot of people will say practice makes perfect. Well, it doesn't. Because if you practice something wrong and you keep practicing it wrong, guess what? You'll be perfect at doing it wrongly. But But the thing is, if you practice and you just practice what you know, what you're good at, and you just keep getting it more better, it means that practice makes permanent. And because you've practiced well, it's making it permanently well. And because you're doing it in baby steps, some people don't like the term baby, small steps, you then grow in confidence bit by bit, bit by bit. And then you go to the third one and the fourth one. And then you find, if you're like a hypnotherapist, you don't need an awful lot more. Yes, you will learn more, but you don't need that much. And that's, I think, so much in everything. I mean, whatever sport you choose, you can learn the basics. And they always say, learn the basics first, get a great foundation. So master the basics, and then you've got that confidence, high self-esteem to do whatever you want, bit by bit. And in that way, because you've mastered maybe just one thing and you're looking to a little bit of the other, you will never suck. Because you've always got that confidence of that one thing, then the two things, then the three things, then the four things. And then probably that confidence will lead you into maybe different areas of your life. And that gives you, well, to me, I just wrote down, you will never suck. Yay. And the thing is, that means you're going to be encouraged to do more. The universe, the multiverse will then start to, I think, conspire with you to find new opportunities. It just happens. You get coincidences. You get serendipity. Things just seem to happen because the more you focus on those few things and you get good at it, you tend to just get a good feeling, and that good feeling just attracts so much more. And when you break them down into those baby steps, and if you break down what you're trying to achieve, we talked about well-formed outcome in quite a few of these podcast episodes. You have an outcome that you're looking for, an aim in mind. You've got the steps. You've got the thoughts of who can mentor you, where you can get the information. Where do you want it? When do you want it? How big do you want it? Who do you want it with? Who don't you want it with? All that stuff. I mean, that's on the hypnosis tracks. So just sign up there at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Say every week. And then look for well-formed outcome. It's an awesome little thing. And it's a process that just works because it breaks down the complicated into the simple steps. But that's not going to just rock it either. Because when you set your intention to master one thing, and you think to yourself, this is my intention, I intend to just get a bit better each time I do this. And then you're going to set your state at the same time. So it could be, if you're learning something, you might want to be curious. If it's something you're going to do over and over again to really get it right, to get it into your muscles, then it might be commitment. Maybe it's confidence if you're going to be talking and doing things. Or it could be where you fill in the blank. Whatever state you think is going to be the most optimum, most appropriate state to be in to learn and practice what you're doing. And once you've set your intention, you've set your state, and by the way, they're also in the hypnosis tracks, the free hypnosis tracks at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Sign up the email. You get them all, boom, download them for free. They're all yours. I've got you back. And then you can really start to nail it. Then your self-esteem goes up even more. Then that confidence. How do you get that confidence or that state? Very quickly. Because I say you can go to the hypnosis tracks because there's not all hypnosis. Sometimes it's just an NLP process. But if you think, I just want to be, say you wanted to have commitment. I'm going to commit myself, or determination, something like that, whichever one you had. You choose, fill in the blank. All you have to do is say, well, I know what I want to do. There's my intention. What state do I want? Well, I want a commitment or a determination state. When was the last time, or when was a time, not the last time, when was there a time in my past when I felt totally committed? There's one. There's a memory. Well, I'll bring it to mind. And then as I bring it to mind, I'm going to go back there just for 30 seconds, go back into that memory. And as I go back into that memory, I'm just going to see what I saw. I'm going to hear what I heard back then. And when I'm seeing what I saw and hearing what I heard, I can feel that feeling. And when I feel that feeling, I'm going to open my eyes and I'm going to do this one thing with determination, commitment, or whatever that is. And you're going to start to practice goodly, like I said. And you're going to take those baby steps and you're going to smash them out of the park. And you're going to master. You see, even every step in a whole process, if you master each individual step, you are going to be so unconsciously competent. But you'll also be consciously competent. And that's where mastery really comes in. It's called knowing what you do and doing what you know. Or you can turn that around the other way. Doing what you know and knowing what you do. Either way, you become the master of that step. Then the steps, then the process, and the next one. And the thing is, when you do that, you go, okay, that's okay, Paul. I don't suck so much now. I'm on to the next one. And I don't feel it's sucking because I'm learning each time. I know it's going to get better and better now because I've got this motivation. I've put myself in the right state. I've set my intention. It's all working. I've got this well-formed outcome. Everything else, I've got your hypnosis tracks. Thank you very much, Cluffy. That's really good of you. And then we review. And you could say, well, I'm going to just review the last week, but maybe you didn't change that much in the last week. Maybe there's just been some little details. I mean, I feel a bit more comfortable doing it now. It seems to be working well. But go back a month and notice how you were say that word again, performing that task, and notice a difference. And that's only 4 weeks ago. If you really want to go back before you even knew this thing that you're practicing and getting good at even existed in your mind, that unconscious incompetence. I didn't even know about it. So from not even knowing about it one iota, look where I am now. Jesus, I'm good. Well, I mean, it's blasphemy, that's blasphemy, but I am good. I'm pleased with my progress. And it is progress. It might be work in progress, but there is a word called progress at the end of it. In progress. And when you celebrate that, because if we don't celebrate it, we don't get good feelings. And if we don't get good feelings, we can't feel gratitude about it. If we don't get that sense of gratitude, then I don't think your unconscious mind realizes then this is what you want to do. And when you do review and you go, I've come a long way. I feel good about the things I'm becoming really good at. I'm knowing what I'm doing what I know. That's really good. I've got another step. I've got this. I'm really putting together a portfolio of skills. I can feel so grateful. And then if you wanted to, you could actually say, well, if that's what I've done in this period of time, what would happen if I keep doing this in the future, day by day? Well, it's going to be exponential growth, isn't it? It'll be faster than when you first started because that's what happens. And you measure your progress. Then you get more grateful. And then you get better. And then you get people say, you're a natural. You must have learnt this overnight. An overnight success. But you know the truth. But the thing about this is, you know that you did it. Because you set your intention, you set your state, you did the work. And by doing what you know and knowing what you do, you've mastered so many things that it becomes, say, with this portfolio. And the thing is, and here's the real good kicker in this, is that these skills, or the confidence you get from being able to do one thing, well, that's going to meander, permeate into other areas of your life, different contexts. So if you're good at this skill, you somehow get good at a different skill because you just that confidence or the dexterity or whatever it is. Maybe the self-esteem and the confidence goes, I think I can do this, but I'm going to use the skills I've learned already. So I'm not going to be overconfident and stupid. I'm just going to do it the best I can. Small baby steps, setting my intention, setting my state, breaking it down. And then it just works. And then people say to you when you're at work or something, they go, you seem to be more confident as you are. You seem so much more chilled, taking things in your stride. You're progressing at work without even trying. Maybe socializing. You just feel more comfortable with people. You've got more stories, more communications, more things to say. And you're now not only being interested in people, you are becoming interesting yourself. Or more interesting, because you're an interesting person anyway. And it just develops more and more and more. And it all starts from sucking. And that's the beauty of it. And when I say it all starts from sucking, I'm now saying you'll never suck anyway. Because it's got nothing to do with sucking. It's just about getting there, doing the stuff. And knowing that you always will, and you never will at the same time. And one note I made about myself for you is, why is all this important? Why am I going through this? Because a lot of it you know. I know you know. And a lot of it you don't know. You know. And a lot of it I'm reminding you of, and some of it's new. But whatever happens, it's going in a bit deeper every time. And the more you hear these things, the more you maybe say to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Because knowing this stuff, as we say, intellectually knowing all this stuff is just a waste of time if you're not going to actually do the stuff. Because remember what mastery is? Doing what you know and knowing what you do. 2 words in there, doing and do. It's not about being able to write it out. It's not being able to explain it to people. No, it's actually to do it. You have to show people and show yourself. And why is it important to you? Because, and this is what I made a note, is if you want to succeed bit by bit, this is the way to do it. Build upon success. Build upon it bit by bit and feel good every blooming step of the way. Because you're reviewing, you're celebrating. We don't celebrate enough of what we've achieved. Because we're always looking at that show reel saying, well, I'm not as good as that. No, you're bloody better than where you were a month ago, a week ago, a day ago. Because you get that aha moment, or you get that thing that goes, I can do this now. What else can I do? What else can I learn? And get better and better. And when you get better and better, then you can start challenging you and your unconscious mind to do something even more special. I love when I'm working with a client to challenge my unconscious mind and say, you know, I really want to have a good session. I want to be able to access all my skills. But what would it be like if we could be a little bit innovative and do something different this time and make an even better change? Guide someone to make an even bigger change than they could ever dream possible. And guess what? I've been doing things that I haven't thought about, or things I've never done before, and been mixing different processes together, and the results have been spectacular. But I couldn't have done that without this mastering of one thing. Because when I started hypnosis, I didn't know a thing about it. Do I know everything about it? Absolutely not. But can I do the stuff that I know? Absolutely. I'm a master at that. I am a master. And you can be too. In fact, you could be a master of a few things, such as sharing this episode. Because if you know what to do and you do what you know, you could share this with all your friends and they could do the same. And they just get better and better. And you'd have so much of a good time sharing it. You really would. But also, you might start thinking, well, you know, I get what you say, Cluffy, but I got a couple of issues around there, or I've got something stopping me. Maybe there's a limiting belief that, because what you said is so easy, but I got this limiting belief about myself. Or, you know, I'm not quite so sure because in the past I had this little thing go wrong and now this emotion keeps drawing me back. So, send me an email. Tell me those things. And if you tell me those things, I will come up with a process. One that I know, maybe I'll evolve one. Who knows? But there'll be one there. And we'll go through it together, and so will everyone else, bit by bit. Because it'll be something I don't know what you're going to say, unconscious incompetence. And then you'll tell me about it, and I go, I don't know anything about that. So I'm consciously incompetent about it. And then I'll go, do you know what? I think I can do something about that. And that'll get a bit clunky, conscious competence. And then I'll go, do you know what? I can do this. And we'll do an episode with unconscious competence. And I'll pull them together. Conscious competence and unconscious competence. And I'll master this bloody thing for you. And then everyone else gets a benefit of it. They really do. All because you asked that one question. Or you shared this episode with somebody and they asked me a question. And you'll get the benefit of it. What goes around comes around every time. And we just keep on this adventure of learning together. And it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Anyway, did I ask you to share? Can't remember. Did I ask you to email me? I can't remember if I told you where the email was. Possibly it's feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Do that and you'll get a personal reply from me. Anyway, I think we've gone over that enough, and therefore I'm going to try to find something new to suck at so I can get really good at it. Okay? But until then, and I will tell you about it when I do it, that's what I do. It's time to fly. but fly with confidence, competence, and be happy for no reason. So until the next time, my friend, you go have some fun. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.